Thanks. Next.
Next out the plowshare aid.
Okay. You have to leave, do you? Okay. Thanks. Okay, ready? Why don't we then proceed? We have a couple of other groups here. If you can stand to this unusually good talent, I think, especially this next performance by a group called People Energy. It's a touring theater group. They do original theater pieces that address contemporary social issues. And tonight they're going to do two skits, one on the Plowshares 8, and also another one called Veteran of Atomic Wars. So, People Energy.
Thank you. The People Energy Theater Collective has been together for approximately 1 year, developing pieces related to energy and survival issues. All our work is based on the real struggles that people have to deal with. In tonight's performance, will consist of the actual words and case histories of atomic war veterans. This piece is part of a larger piece that will be presented this weekend in Philadelphia at Hayes Restaurant. Thank you. My name is Mary Cooper, and I'm here to tell you the story of my husband, Philip, a former corporal in the U.S. Marines. These are very difficult words for me to say, and I'd rather forget what I'm about to tell you. Between the years 1946 and 1962, the U.S. Department of Defense conducted over 183 atomic weapons tests. More than 400,000 people were involved in these radiation experiments. In 1957, Philip was a platoon sergeant in Echo Company, 5th Marines Weapons Division, Camp Pendleton, California. Around the 10th of June, his company was told that they had volunteered for a very special mission.
Company, the 5th Marines has volunteered to go to Camp Desert Rock, Yucca Flats, Nevada, on special assignment for the atomic expedition. All liberty is hereby restricted. Men, this mission you have before you today is of great importance for the benefit and security of all mankind. Security precautions therefore demand that you do not speak or write to anyone about this mission, your families included. Company, you should be proud as Marines, as your country's finest military service, that you have been chosen to take part in this experiment, to find out just how close a human being can come to an atomic explosion and still survive. You will be a little over 1 mile from ground zero. As always, the Army will be right behind you. And if anything should happen to you on this mission, the government will look after your families. Remember, men, no Marine in the Corps history has ever backed down in the face of danger. But if any of you want to go Well, then I think you'd better leave now. Any takers?
No, sir!
Good! Well then, men, let's go! Company, about, face, double time, march! Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right!
At 4 a.m. on the 4th of July, Philip and his men were taken by truck to the sites. At 6 a.m., they were positioned in 5-foot trenches when a 48-kiloton atomic bomb was detonated.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
There was a big, loud blast, and a bright light appeared. The ground began shaking like it was the end of the world. Philip's trench began filling with dirt very quickly. He was soon buried up to his chest. The air became very hot. The ground kept shaking as the shock waves followed the big blast. He could see his bones illuminated by the bright light through his fingers. Philip and his men were finally dug out. He was shaking, felt nauseated, and had a slight headache. They all looked up at the big cloud and the mushroom that had formed in the sky. They saw tanks melted down, smoke all over, and heavy equipment turned to cinders. They force-marched to a place where trucks were waiting for them. Before boarding the truck, they were checked with the Geiger counter.
Man, you have had it! Get back in the bus with the rest of those men. Give me those radiation glasses.
They were taken to a place where they were stripped down, hosed down, and given a special soap to wash with. All of their clothes were burned, and they were given new weapons. They were then returned to their regular areas. Philip was still shaking, felt nauseated, and had a slight headache. The medic gave him some aspirin and told him to relax. 2 weeks after returning to Pendleton, Philip was hospitalized with aches, double vision, nausea, muscle aches and muscle spasms. An operation was performed on his back, and a growth was removed from his face.
Your symptoms are due to injuries you received during the Korean conflict. You also have a bad back. But the truth is, soldier, that most of your problems are in your head. And unless you straighten up, I'll be forced to recommend that your rank be frozen, in which case you'll never have another promotion, and you'll be medically retired.
Philip didn't want to quit the Marines. So in January 1959, he completed a 100-mile regimental hike with 40 pounds of gear on his back to prove that he was still fit to perform the duties of his rank. 1 week later, he was back in the hospital. Only this time it was worse. He couldn't walk at all.
Say, soldier. Look, don't give up the fight, soldier. Look, I know that these injuries you've got, they were caused by that explosion at Yucca Flats. And I know the Corps is trying to cover it up, too. They'll probably get away with it, all of which makes you eligible for the Chump of the Year award. I'm very sorry about this, soldier.
In November 1963, Philip was discharged on the grounds that he was no longer fit to perform the duties of his rank. Since Philip's radiation exposure, we have consulted with several doctors, military as well as civilian. Some have been sympathetic and have prescribed medication. Others think that he's crazy. His ailments have continued. Lumps and growths on his head, his spine and buttocks. and one of his legs shrunk and is shorter than the other. All of my children have suffered. One of my sons has developed unexplainable pains throughout his body. My daughter has blotches and spots all over her body. Since Philip's radiation exposure, I have had several miscarriages. Because we were absolutely certain that these conditions were caused by Philip's radiation exposure, I decided to fight for my husband's rights. My first idea was to file a lawsuit with the U.S. government.
Your case is dismissed, as you have not exhausted all of your remedies with the Veterans Administration.
I filed a claim with the VA.
Denied because of lack of sufficient medical evidence.
I made an appeal.
Denied. There's no way that you can prove how your husband's cancer was caused.
It was obvious that Philip's records had been sanitized, so I decided to do a little research of my own. After months of effort, I was surprised to find that the Department of Energy still had Philip's records with his actual radiation dosage. Before they knew what I was up to, they sent me all the correct information. I made a new appeal.
Denied. Your husband has lymphoma, which is not a radiation-induced disease.
So I had studies run on the subject by experts at the University of California. I made another appeal.
It appears that yes, indeed, lymphoma can be caused by radiation exposure. However, you lack sufficient physical evidence of your husband's lymphoma.
So I had specimens sent to the VA office where they were subsequently lost in the mail. I made another appeal to the local VA.
Denied.
I made an appeal to the national VA.
Denied.
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 It was obvious I had exhausted all remedies with the VA. So I decided to refile my lawsuit with the U.S. government.
Cooper versus the United States government.
The defendant, the United States government, has been found not guilty of the charges.
The government cannot be held responsible for injuries to servicemen that occur during the normal course of military activity.
As stated in the Ferris Doctrine.
Military commanders must have the prerogative to issue orders without fear of redress.
Otherwise, the whole system of military command would collapse.
As the law now stands, it wouldn't matter if the commanding officer stood up there and said left, right, left, 1, 2, 3, and marched his troops off a cliff. He would still be protected by the Ferris Doctrine.
Case dismissed. Sometimes I feel like a real loser, but a very stubborn one. All I am saying is this: don't give up. That's exactly what the government's plan is. They think that if they slap us down enough times that we'll give up and go away. Well, we won't go away. My biggest worry now is that my son, who is 18, might be drafted. I guess my next big battle with the government will be to keep that from happening. Thank you for hearing our story.
Thanks very much. That's the People Energy Collective. I'd like to have a